be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show where we bring you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Hey, this is a special show. We've got a great lineup for you today. There is major weather on the southeast portion of our state, Florida, and our first expert is really feeling it. Good morning, Ray.
Steve, good morning and happy Monday. Glad to have internet and electricity this morning after Tropical Storm Debbie passed by us yesterday and early this morning.
I was so worried about you and your family, Ray, and I'm having email problems this morning. So I was really glad to hear from you that we were a go. And our second show, which is a Tampa show, that already canceled because of the weather. But did you get hit bad?
No, for all intents and purposes, it was a nuisance. At least for us. Certainly, there were people that were severely affected by it. Some flooding that's occurred. I was out early this morning to head over to check on the office. And I could see that the lakes around us were fuller than I have ever seen them. So we clearly had a lot of rain, but hopefully it's not too serious. And feel badly for those that are affected by it. And clearly, the folks up in the Big Bend area right now, just about now, are getting ready for Debbie to make landfall. So we'll have to say a few prayers for them and hope that all is reasonably well under the circumstances.
Well, we're glad you're okay. Your company is Provise Management. Tell people about Provise.
Provise Management is a financial planning and investment management firm. We have two offices located in Clearwater and in Tampa. However, we serve clients in over 30 states, roughly 1,100 scattered across the United States. And we're managing just shy of $2 billion on behalf of those clients. And Steve, as I've always said on the show, we see ourselves as a financial planning company first and foremost, and an investment management company second. And the reason for that is that we believe that once we understand holistically a person's overall financial health, we are then able to manage their wealth in a much more effective way. And we always offer a 1-hour free consultation to our prospective clients. The number scrolling across the bottom, 441-7420, and that's area code 727. Just give us a call and be happy to schedule that in person in either our Clearwater or Tampa office, or certainly for those that are outside of the Tampa area, we always can handle it by Zoom. Steve, a question. I know you commented you had some problems with your email. Did you happen to get the questions this morning?
I do. I did get your questions. Ray, we start promoting the show about a week out, but we really promoted heavily the day of. And we have been inundated. People worried what's going on out there. But I had someone who's written us 4 times, and I know you normally do not get into stocks, but one of our good listeners wanted to know, why do you think Warren Buffett is selling many of his technical stocks like Apple?
Well, I don't have a direct pipeline to Mr. Buffett, But it has been said over the weekend that he sold 50% of his position in Apple, yet he remains the single largest stockholder in Apple, even after having done that. I think the number that I heard was that it was about $72 billion worth of the stock. I can only surmise, and I certainly do not know why he sold the stock, and it is a bit befuddling from the standpoint that he has been a very large advocate of Tim Cook, who is the CEO of Apple.
Right.
He has held Apple for a long time. And Apple appears to be on the edge of a new product cycle as it's coming out with AI related products. So I can only say that as his single largest holding, as it once was, that he decided to take some chips off the table. Decided to reduce his exposure in that particular area. And clearly, there had been a nice run up in the Apple stock this year, as there had been in many of the technology areas. And I just want to remind investors, there's nothing wrong with taking profits. And there's nothing wrong with diversifying your portfolio. And particularly when you have a concentration as large as he had with Apple. It's all I can comment on. I still like Apple. I think it's a good stock. I own it personally, and I will continue to own it. But then I don't have 400 million shares of it.
Ray, I got to say, I thought about you last night. I was watching Netflix, and I saw the movie about GameStop.
Yeah. Well, I'm not big into the meme stocks. It's all a bunch of craziness as far as I'm concerned. And there's always winners and losers in those kinds of stocks. And the best thing for me to do, because I'm not intelligent enough to trade, I'm like a Mr. Buffett. I like to own a stock, keep a stock until I think that there's better value someplace else. And playing in the GameStop and in the AMC stock is not my cup of tea. And I would advise most investors to stay away from it. That's gambling. That's not investing.
Well, I got to tell you, what is going on in the market last week? Things have been going downhill in a big way. Is this a start of a bear market?
Well, let's kind of reflect a little bit. First of all, as you have heard me say on the show many times, the market this year got a little ahead of itself, and it did primarily in the technology stocks that were driving the market. And the market has been looking for an excuse, in our opinion, to reset itself. And that occurred last week when two things happened. The first thing that happened was the Federal Reserve chose not to lower interest rates on Wednesday. And I really think that they wanted to lower interest rates on Wednesday, but they chose not to for fear that it would cause fear in the markets, because everybody had pretty much baked in the first decrease to occur in September. And had they lowered the interest rate on Wednesday of last week, I think it would have raised eyebrows as to, whoa, do they really think things are that weak? Had they lowered interest rates last Wednesday, and then on top of that, gotten the bad employment number that we got, where 175,000 new jobs were expected, and it was only like 114,000, and the previous 2 months had been revised downward by another 29,000. That sent the markets into to a tailspin. And I can only say it would have been a lot worse had they lowered interest rates. Frankly, we felt that interest rates should have been lowered at the previous meeting rather than waiting. Having said all of that, now this morning, early on, the NASDAQ is down 5%, a little over 5%. The S&P is down over 4%. The Dow Jones Industrial Averages is down a little over 3%. So clearly the markets are resetting itself. The other thing that was very disturbing was that the unemployment rate jumped from 4.1 to 4.3%. And from the previous month, it jumped from 3.9% to 4.1. We said then, and I'm also going to say it again, it was not because there were people who lost their jobs. It was because more people were looking to go back into the workforce. Unemployment means how many people are looking for a job that can't find a job. And so when more people come into the workforce looking for a job, all else being equal, that's going to drive the unemployment rate up. When people get discouraged and they don't look for a job, they get taken out of that number. So you have to be actively looking for a job. And again, when you look at the fact that a little over 425,000 jobs have been lost thus far this year versus the number of jobs that have been created, we have a net positive. Also, the number of jobs that we've lost this year compared to last year is actually 4.4% lower this year than it was last year. So we think this is one number that came out. This is the market getting an opportunity to reset itself. And now, specifically with all of that information, answer to your question, is this the start of a bear market? It most likely is not. It could easily be the beginning of a correction, which is where the market goes down 10% or more. But a bear market is down 20%. And while one never knows for sure what the market is going to do, my sense is that given earnings, given projections, et cetera, there is weakness in the economy, but the economy is still growing. Second quarter GDP was up 2.8%. And so again, I'll remind everybody, the stock market is like an investor walking up a flight of stairs with a yo-yo. We all tend to look at the yo-yo going up and down and fail to realize that the man is going up the flight of stairs. Now, sometimes he goes up the flight of stairs faster than other times, and sometimes she can even stop. But investors need to realize that over time, it's an investor walking up those flight of stairs with the yo-yo. Look at the stairs, not the yo-yo. So I suggest that this is a buying opportunity, not a selling opportunity.
Okay. Hey, now we know we have a pretty good idea. Vice President Harris is now being assured the nomination for president. How should we be thinking about that as in regards to investing?
Well, Steve, I always get amused and chuckle at the so-called Trump trade, and then there was the so-called Biden trade, and now they're talking about the so-called Harris trade. And I don't know what any of that means. When you look at it as an example, you go back to 2016. President Trump, who was and still is a huge advocate for energy, and energy was one of the worst performing sectors during his 4 years as president, even though he was a huge supporter of the industry. Conversely, look at President Biden, who everyone knows would like to eliminate carbon-based products if he could, and clearly wants to press it down with electronic vehicles, renewable energy, et cetera. One of the best performing sectors during his presidency has been up to this point energy. So the Trump trade didn't work. The Biden trade didn't work. And so whatever the Harris trade is, it's probably not going to work either. I think people have to take a long-term view. They have to pick good quality stocks with earnings, with dividends. They need to have a well-diversified portfolio, and a portfolio that's well asset allocated. You know, Steve, I keep telling everybody at Provise, if you're looking for a hot stock, you're just not going to find it with us. We are vanilla ice cream. The tried and true stuff over time works. It's boring. There's nothing exciting about it other than when you wake up one day and you go, oh my gosh, it actually worked, over a 5-year, 10-year period of time. Again, we're not traders. We're investors. We invest for the long term, and that's what I suggest that our listeners do as well to this podcast.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of letters, Ray. People wondering about Trump. Keeps talking about not taxing the tips. And now he's also talking about not taxing Social Security. Can he actually do that as president?
As president, he can suggest to Congress that they introduce legislation that would do those things, but he cannot do it by simply a stroke of a pen with some type of an executive order. These are ideas that are just getting floated out there. I'm a little confused by the idea of not taxing tips, and where he feels that's going to go. Income is income, and income should be taxed. I believe that everybody ought to pay their taxes. To the extent of the law, and to the extent that they don't have to pay taxes because they're within the law. They shouldn't pay any more than they need to, but they shouldn't pay any less than they're obligated to. So I'm a little confused by where he feels that would be helpful to the individuals and to the economy. Recently, he's talked about not taxing Social Security or not raising taxes on Social Security. And again, there's no specifics behind what he has suggested in either situation, so it's kind of hard to evaluate. But it's unlikely that either of those are going to gain much traction in Congress, particularly as it relates to Social Security. And I'm surprised he hasn't received more criticism from the senior citizen and those that are on Social Security for some of the comments in that regard. Does Social Security need to be reformed? Absolutely. Do we need to do something about our income tax legislation that expires at the end of 2025? Absolutely. But we need to have a lot more conversation around it before we can suggest that there's any substance to some of the ideas that have been floated, by the way, on both sides. You look at the flip side on the Democratic side, severely wanting to increase the taxes on anyone who makes over $400,000 a year and even more for the so-called ultra rich, those that make over 100 million. But both of those do not have any broad support behind them on either side of the aisle at the present time. Certainly not enough to get anything passed. Now, that all changes in November. If one party were to gain control of the White House and Congress, that all bets are off as to what could get passed in that kind of a scenario.
We just got a text from Billy in Palm Beach. I have a small but very profitable consulting business with 2 employees, and I am fortunate to have excess cash, which should continue for years to come. How can I save money on a tax efficient way?
Well, Billy, I would say to you, first of all, congratulations on having that successful business. And I think it's great that you're thinking about your potential future retirement, as well as that of your employees, who hopefully will stay with you for many years in this thriving business that you have. If you don't already have a retirement plan set up, there's a number of different things that you can do. You could set up a simple plan, which is exactly what it sounds like. It doesn't require a great deal of paperwork. It allows you to set aside a smaller amount of money than a 401k program would. So depending upon the amount of cash that you think you reasonably might have over the coming future, you might want to look at the 401k, which will allow you to set aside a whole lot more. You can, if you're over the age of 50, you can set aside up to $31,000 this year in the 401k. And you can set up matching program. If you have a lot of extra cash flow, you may even want to set up a profit sharing plan on top of the 401k that you can change the amount that you put in every year, up or down, depending upon the success of your business in any couple of years. We're managing about 55 401k programs today, and some roughly $250 million of supervision of those assets. We do so at a fiduciary standard of care, meaning that we have to put your interests and those of your employees ahead of our own. And a lot of people who may be listening, Steve, to our broadcast today may have an existing plan, and they may have had it for years. And what they really need to do is to do an analysis of the plan, because it's amazing how costs can build up over time when you're not looking at and challenging the people who are helping you with the plan. And that's why we do an analysis on a money back guarantee on 401 programs, where we'll do an analysis. And if we can't save you 2 years, within 2 years, the cost of the analysis, we'll refund the fee that you pay for it, and we'll let you keep the analysis. So there's absolutely no ongoing obligation. And as I say, if we can't demonstrate that you can save at least within a 2-year period of time the cost of the program, and often it is much more than that on an ongoing basis, we refund your fee, and you get to keep the analysis, which helps your fiduciary file should the Department of Labor come knocking. So anybody who has a 401k, if you would simply reach out to us at 727-441-9022. That's 727-441-9022. We would appreciate you giving us a call, and we can tell you more about how we can do a 401k cost analysis for you.
This will be the last question. And I just read an article the other day that Chick-fil-A is making a lot of changes. And one of the changes is they're trying kiosk where people everything is automated. And we got a letter from Margie in Bradenton. It said that AI will replace a lot of jobs. Which jobs are most at risk?
Well, I would suggest that those are two separate questions. One is, what's the effect of what's being done over here with the kiosks, and then there's AI. So first of all, let's deal with the kiosk. Obviously, most of the major chains, fast food chains, have gone to an app base where you can just in advance of going there, place an order for your food. And then doing the kiosks, obviously eliminates some people, therefore reducing costs, which will theoretically increase the profits. That really isn't AI. Where AI could come into that is, as it relates to the fast food industry, is that if you're really ordering things on a consistent basis and identifying who you are, which of course you do when you use an app, it can come back and say, you normally get large fries. Why are you only getting small fries this time? Or Diet Coke as opposed to Diet Dr. Pepper. Would that be better? So those are the kinds of things where AI can come into the fast food industry once it learns your particular patterns, where it can make suggestions to you and perhaps upgrade the sale that would be made. As AI is concerned, we are in the early stages of AI and its implications. It is our opinion at this point that AI will eliminate jobs, but it's going to create more jobs than it eliminates as time goes along. Now, it's going to require more skills for people to be involved, and that folks will have to go back and get some further education, either in the trades or through some of the training that is available through companies, et cetera. But technology has always been a threat to jobs. You can go all the way back to the advent of the steam engine and think about that technology coming forward, leading into the industrial age. Every technological revolution has eliminated jobs, but it has always created more jobs, and we've had an expanding economy. So embrace AI, learn as much as you possibly can about it, but don't feel threatened by it in the long run, at least from an investor point of view.
Well, Ray, that's going to wrap it up for us today. Please stay dry. We love having you on the show. You'll be back in 2 weeks with more.
Indeed.
Give everybody your phone number one more time.
Sure. 1 hour free consultation at our Tampa or Clearwater offices or by Zoom. Simply give us a call at 727-441-9022. 727-441-9022. Steve, happy Monday. Have a great week.
You too, buddy. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
That's Ray Ferrara with Provise Management. He's just amazing. We're going to be talking auto accidents on our next show. And we'll also see you next week. Everybody take care. Stay safe. Stay dry. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.